All right, everyone. So we're probably pretty familiar with the reasons why we might want to meditate or the reasons why we might want to do yoga. And there's many and they're varied. And each and every one of them, I'm sure, is pretty valid for all of us. But one of the biggest things that I find helps me with doing practice and doing it regularly is that phenomenon we call monkey mind. Sometimes we might refer to it as doing the head miles. And really, there's only so much that our mind can process and then solve. So it makes sense to have a practice where we're able to start to not only observe the workings of the mind, watch the workings of the mind, but then execute choices around the workings of the mind. And that takes practice. And what we call it in yoga and meditation is a redirect. Okay, that's kind of like the common terminology these days for what is a really ancient way of shifting focus. And so as we learn how to do this, we learn then how we can create different outcomes for ourselves through the choices that we make, especially when we are viewing and interpreting and just here while the mind goes into monkey style. So let's take a really simple practice as a way of noticing how we can redirect. I'm going to ask you just to sit really tall, lift your heart, and let your shoulders drop down your back body. And then take a few deeper breaths, just let them come through as a way of signaling that we are here now and you are arriving. Maybe you're cutting ties with other things that have been going on. Perhaps there's been a little bit of a busy morning. And so to enter into the space, can you close your eyes or let your eyes come down? And just come internal for a few quiet moments. And then as you just start to allow yourself to notice your breathing, you're tracing the breath as it moves in through the nose. And you'll feel it go down the windpipe. And it'll move down into your chest somewhere. And then it will move straight back out in the reverse order. And I'm going to ask you, can you follow that pattern? Can you follow the process of breathing in? And then notice where it goes in your chest. And then when it's breathing its way out, you've just got the same process happening and you're just here watching and just aware. And just let your mind sit in the waiting for this space to become noticed in the chest, wherever the breath is moving to. Can you wait, watch? And as you feel it hit that point, can you stay with it just for a few quiet moments before the process just begins again? You get to feel it. You get to feel exactly where this is happening in your chest. And the moment it starts and you feel it, I want you just to give it your complete 100% attention. Just for the next 3 times that it happens. One 100% of your present moment awareness. When that breath hits that place in your chest, let's take one more. And as we let the breath go, as we allow our attention to gently come back into the space, keep the eyes closed and just notice, where were you for those last few moments? And as you sit, just reflect, were you in and out? Were you in and then back out? Did the mind cut in? That's fine. But what about those times when you were just able to be? And even if it wasn't 100%, was there a shift? Was there a redirect? This is the way we practice creating choice in our lives, to redirect our internal focus to a different place. And this breaks the pattern between the mind and the body, and the way we sometimes get on that loop, get into the head miles, what we call the monkey mind. We can stop it. Even if it's momentary, we break it, we break the pattern. And the more we do it, we start to build it like it's a muscle. And internally, we start to be able to activate it. So let's bring our palms together here now. And feel the contact with your own hands, skin on skin. The palms rest at prayer. And then rub the palms together so you feel the smooth sliding of your own palms against each other. And then take the feeling of that up over your eyes and just settle into a quiet, still space for a moment of introspection. Eyes are closed, hands over the eyes. And then gently starting to spread the fingers, allow your eyes to blink the light in, coming back into the room. Welcome back. I invite you, when you're ready, to come straight into your child's pose. Grounding, big toes touching, knees nice and wide. And what a beautiful way just to bring our practice we did before into the physical practice now, as our third eye grounds and we maintain this inner connection. And then start to feel your body as you soften into the earth, relaxing the weight of your bones, breathing out. And channel the breath to move in and out through your nose. Evenly and equally, methodical, consistent breathing style. If it becomes too much, you can open the mouth. But stay with the same duration of time on the in-breath as the out-breath, and let yourself fall into a breath pattern. Really soothing, calming for any energy that might be up within the mind. And then travel with the whole entire breath, breathing in. 100% attention, breathing out. Last 3. Give yourself over attention-wise completely. And as the final breath comes to an end, gently we rise on the next in-breath to come to hands and knees. Bring the knees a little closer together, the feet come a little closer, and then walk your hands back towards your legs. Come into kneeling pose as you lift up through your chest and you lift your arms out in front at the same height as your shoulders. Now, making fists with your hands, rotate the wrists in circles. And then go the opposite way, so you're lubricating in both directions. Those small joints, increasing the fluid flow through to them. Opposite way again, so we travel back. And then last time around, let's move in that opposite direction. All right, hold the palms out like you're saying stop. Flex the fingers back towards the forearms and then turn the fingers down so you get that really nice stretch through the forearms themselves. Inhale to push away And exhale to let the fingers drop. Inhale to flex the palms back. Exhale, fingertips drip down to the earth. One more time with each. Wrist and forearms just getting a little more malleable. Exhale out. And from here, take your arms in line with shoulders, T-shape. Take a bend in the elbows, cactus elbows now. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Inhale to lift up through the chest. Exhale to round the back, chin to the chest and wrap in. Inhale, opening up through the heart. Exhale, cross the arms the other way and tuck the chin in. Inhale to really open up through the armpits. And exhale to round your entire back. Don't forget to cross the arms in opposite ways. Inhale, last one, open. Exhale, round and soften. Inhale to open wide. Exhale, arms go back behind and take a bind. Fingers lace, palms against each other. Draw the shoulder blades back. Upper arm bones squeeze back, lift the chest. And as you exhale, move down into a rabbit pose. So forehead comes down. Fontanelle of the head touches the ground, the place between the hairline and the crown. And then lift your bum off your feet and arch and round your back. So the top of the head is on the ground and your bottom is off your heels. And now lift your arms away from your back body. Teasing open the fronts of the shoulders. Last breath. Let the arms hang heavy towards your head. And then release the bind. Arms come forwards. Let's lift to hands and knees. And when you're ready, curling all 10 toes under. Set your hands at comfortable shoulder width. Spread your fingers, ground your knuckles, and from the core center, your belly, pick up your knees off the mat and hover here 1 inch off the floor for 3. Shoulders over the wrists, come slightly forwards for 2. Squeeze the thumbs towards each other. Keep the knees with a gentle hover here for 1. Now downward dog, lift your hips to the sky, press your inner thighs back. And feet hip width, soften the knees. Lift your sitting bones up to the sky. And drop your head and come to that consistent breathing. Drop in to the start of the breath. 100% attention to right there, the end of the breath. Every time. Good. Now, final 3 breaths. Keep the arms strong. Push the mat away. Let the neck be lengthened. Now follow your breathing. Last deep breath. Let the heels hang nice and low. And then rise to your toes. Bending both knees. Walk both feet forwards towards your hands. Inhale, hands to shins for a halfway lift, flat back. Exhale and bow softly over the legs. Ragdoll pose, grab your elbows, take a gentle bend in your knees. And draw your belly down towards your thighs as you let your chest hang towards your lower legs. And for 3, let your upper body be really super heavy. Feel the weight of the upper body teasing the back body open in the stretch. Can you breathe something out? Let your head hang just a little heavier now. Stay with the breath. And then relax your hands, arms towards the ground. Step your feet a little closer in. Grounding your footprints deep. Rise to stand in your own way. And reach up to be really tall. Lift your arms to the sky. Big breath. Stand up. Exhale, hands through heart center and bowing forward, bend. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat, step back, come into plank. Position your weight right above your hands. So the shoulders are right over the wrists. Lift up the squeeze of your legs to the sky. Pull up your navel. Arch the upper back. Hollow through the ribs. Come forwards on the tips of the toes. And exhale, downward dog. Aha. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Let's rise to toes. Good. Bend the knees. Walk, step, or jump. Hands to the shins for a halfway lift. Look down. Exhale, bowing forwards. Bend your knees with feet hip width and take a chair pose. Utkatasana. Sinking into the pelvis, draw the tip of your tailbone into your body and then round through your kidneys just a touch as the knees go back over the ankles. So sit back into your pelvis a little more. And on the last three, can we pulse it out? So we deepen the bend of the knees, we sink the pelvis, then we rise. Another two, control it, nice and slow, breathing and movement, one. And then from here, stork pose, left knee comes to the chest, stand up. And from here, we come to airplane pose, kick back, lean forwards. Do that again, stork pose, stand up, lift the left knee to the chest as we take a bind. Exhale, slow it down, so you're breathing out into airplane. Final round, third one, lift up through your chest, look forwards. Exhale to airplane, one breath. Hands to heart center, and then drop that left foot back into lunge. Lift up the arms with a sweep. Inhale, hips square as you find your feet grounded. Now squeeze your inner legs towards each other. It's like we pull the right hip back and the left hip slightly comes forwards. Take a breath, lift your spine. Exhale, warrior two, back foot moving flat and increase your stride. Step a little further forwards with that right foot sliding its way to the front of the mat. Sink a little deeper into the front hip. Spin both palms to the sky. Reach up with both palms, and as you do, simultaneously straighten front leg. Exhale as we go back to warrior two. Gaze is forwards. Keep the lunge nice and low. Sweep the front palm to sky and reverse your warrior. Keep deepening into the front hip. Cartwheel the hands to the mat. We step it all the way back into plank. Now pause here, 5. Squeeze the thumbs into each other, 4. Lift through the belly. Tuck the front ribs in, for 2. Now really, really squeeze your glute muscles for 1. Press back for downward facing dog. Exhale through the out breath. Rise to toes. Bending both knees, walk, step or spring to meet the front. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, follow the breath and bow forwards. Feet are separate, take it to chair pose, Utkatasana. Make the slight adjustments needed. Knees back over the ankles. Tailbone hooks into the body. Feel the lower back ribs gently rounding, expanding. It's like your core at the front switches on and the back body opens up. Now take a breath and start to dip down. 3. Exhale. 2. Last one, control it. And then right knee comes to the chest, stand up for stork. Exhale, airplane pose. Move nice and slow with your out breath. Straight away, inhale to your stork. Draw your shoulder blades back. Exhale to move into flight. Number 2, we lift it to the chest, stand right up strong, left leg is on. Right leg flies behind, coming into your airplane, hands to heart, and land in lunge. Good, sweep the arms. Steady yourself, feet are hip width. Draw the hips to wrap to face forwards. Like you're closing a pair of scissors, the same feeling, inner thighs, hug to the midline. Taking one more breath, stand up through your chest, through your spine, nice and tall. Then open wide for warrior 2. And increase your stance, be courageous. Slide the left foot forwards, be brave, big warrior's stride. Sink the front hip. Reach beyond your fingertips and feel the back leg squeezing as you pull the inner thigh to the thigh bone. Now, can you spin through the palms? Straighten front leg, reach up. Exhale, coming back, eyes forwards, warrior 2. Exhale, breath. Inhale, reversing, reaching back. And cartwheel your hands to the mat, coming into plank. Pausing for 5. Really turn your legs on, squeeze them together. 4. Lift from your pelvic bone right up to your collarbones. So feel that front of the body hollow out. For 2, you can always drop the knees for 1, and then bend the knees, downward facing dog. Rise to the toes, bend the knees, walk, step or spring. Halfway lift, inhale. You got it, exhale, bow forwards, let the head drop. Utkatasana, chair pose, 1 breath. Bow forwards, hands through heart, drop your head. Inhale, hands to shins, press your pelvis back. Hands to the mat and step both feet back, downward facing. Lift up your right leg to the sky. Bend your knee into your chest. Come forward, shoulders above the wrists. Plant the front foot and reach up into full crescent lunge. Now here's the change. We're going to bring our hands to heart center. We're going to step the left foot forwards to join the right. Utkatasana, chair pose. Now stand up, take your stork pose, left knee to the belly. Coming into airplane pose, we kick it back. And then land on the mat for crescent lunge, reach up, square pelvis, warrior 2. Increase your stance, be bold, be brave. Both palms up, front leg straightens. Exhale, warrior 2. Reverse it, breathe in. And cartwheel down to breathe out. This time, 1 breath in plank. Give it all you got. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Even the glutes. Then the knees press back, down dog. Left leg lifting. Hug the knee to your chest, come forwards. Now step through and rise strong for your crescent. Make sure you're prepared to step the back foot to the front. Hands to heart, chair pose. Reach both arms to go up. Right knee lifts, stand up, stork pose. You got it. Okay, now airplane. One breath. Land in crescent lunge. Reach up on the inhale. Just breathe your way through. Warrior two as you exhale. Good, big stance. Spin the palms, lift up, reach up. Warrior two, out breath. Reverse warrior, in breath. And cartwheel hands to the mat. Step back into your plank. One big breath. Tighten through the pelvic bone up to the collarbones. Exhale, press it back. Downward facing. Last round, ready? Right leg lifting. Knee to chest. Stay with us now. Inhale, crescent lunge. Hands to heart. Utkatasana, step to the front. Good, reach up the arms. Now stand up, left knee to chest, come into stork pose. Transition, airplane. Exhale the breath. Land back, crescent lunge. Inhale. Warrior two, exhale. Straighten the knee in the same line as the hip. Good, reach up. That's it, come back to your warrior two. You've got it, reverse. Right arm reaches back. And cartwheel to the mat so you can step all the way back into your plank. Now hold it for one strong breath. Good, round your shoulder blades. Good, now let your core take you back to downward dog. Core, take it back. Awesome, lift your left leg to the sky. Big breath. Knee wraps to the chest. Big step. Reach it up for crescent. Inhale to get there. Hands to heart. We're going to step the right foot through. Ready? Chair pose. Sit down. Reach up. Good. Now, right knee to chest. Stork pose. Inhale. Airplane passing through. Now we take an exhale. Good. Inhale. Crescent lunge. Big breath. Warrior two. Back foot grounding. Front foot stepping a little further forwards. Be bold. Be brave. Reach up. Front leg straightens. Prayer hands touch. Back to your warrior two. Out breath. In breath. Reverse your warrior. Cartwheel down because we're going straight to plank. Ready? One full breath. Squeeze the tops of your thighs. And step it or press it back into a child's pose. Drop your head and just breathe out. And from that moment of intensity or whatever it was, you might have just felt it was compelling or interesting. Maybe you were bored, but from that moment, can we be in this moment now and redirect by following our breath? Take it, the breath, to the place it lands in the chest and just notice and just wait, watch. Notice where that breath is bringing sensation to the chest. And every time it goes there, just stay there. Just stay a few moments, and then your body will naturally breathe out. But it's like you're waiting for it to hit your chest. The floodlight, the spotlight comes on, and you become present, and you've redirected, and you've chosen to bring your attention into a different stream of consciousness. All right, next inhale, let's rise up to hands and to knees. From hands and knees, bring your knees just a little closer in, so they're a little narrow hip width. Stretch back the right thigh, the leg behind you, calf muscle stretch. And then lifting up the right heel in the same line as the right hip. Now we're going to donkey kick, so heel comes to the bottom. Exhale your knee directly to your chest and round your back. Bring your forehead to touch your knee. That's it, forehead touches the knee, really round and arch the back. And then inhale, lengthen the heart forwards and kick the right leg back behind long. Good, kick the heel to the bottom. Same pattern. Knee to chest and arch, arch, arch. Make more room under the heart. Tuck the forehead to the knee, touch it with the knee. Inhale, reach back as you lift the heart forwards. Last time, heel to buttock, knee to the chest, forehead, can you touch the knee? Really push down through the hands and then take it back behind to lengthen. And everyone, place that right foot diagonally behind you down on the ground. So cross it over towards the left side of the mat and just sit down into your hips for a nice little half pigeon stretch. It's a funny way of getting there, but we sink into the left shin, the left hip drops down to the ground, and we're kind of facing off to the side of the back end of the mat, and the right leg is long and we've taken it back over to the left side. And just sit in that hip for 3, for 2, and for the last breath, can you really stay with that breath from beginning to end? Hands under shoulders, tuck the rear toes under, and then position yourself back on the mat for hands and knees. Awesome. Stretch back the left foot. Take a calf muscle stretch. Eyes down, neck long, no strain for your neck. Let's lift up the heel on the left side, same line as the hip. Now donkey kick your heel to your buttock. Keep the hips square. Bring your knee directly in to your chest, forehead to knee. Arch, arch, arch. Kick it back. Pull your heart forwards. Reach the toes back. Donkey kick. Chin in. Bring the knee to the chest, forehead to knee. Good, kick it back. Last one, really engage your left buttock. Squeeze the heel to the buttock. Donkey kick. Now, knee to the chest. Arch, arch, arch. Forehead to the knee. Now reach that left thigh back. Back of the heart draws forwards. Place the left toes on the ground, but then step that foot off to the right, lengthen the leg, and sliding the right leg back, the left leg back, sink into the right hip for your half pigeon pose. And it's just 3 breaths, dropping into the pelvis, stretching the IT band on the outside of the right hip and thigh. Can you soften the back of your chest a little? Drop your heart for 1. Awesome. Hands under shoulders. Let's tuck the rear toes and let's reclaim hands and knees. Come back onto the mat. All right. You're going to curl the toes under. Really press the hands down. Pull up from the core and lift your knees by 1 inch. Hover. Puff out your kidneys. Pull your front ribs in towards the abdomen. Last breath, can you stay strong? And lift the pelvis, press back. Take an out breath, downward facing dog. Rise to toes, inhale. Bend your knees, walk, step or jump to come to your hands. Halfway lift, deep breath. Bow forwards, let it go, out breath. Good work. Now bend the knees for Utkatasana. Reach up. And position slightly back again, so knees go back over ankles, heels take the weight. Wrap the tailbone slightly under. You might see that my lower back curves there. And we're going to stand up for stork pose with left knee to the chest. So right leg pushes so firm, the left leg lifts. Take a bind. And from here, let's take this bind within the hands and free the bind, arms in line with shoulders, T shape. Can you bring the hands to the hips if you only really need to? Otherwise, consider that these are your wings and sit into eagle pose. Left leg over, left arm underneath. Otherwise, variations are hands on the hips or arms in line with shoulders. And squat down into the hips just a little deeper for 3. Feel your chest lifting, the upper back rising. 2. Crown of the head draws up. Good. Side edges of the neck draw back for 1. And release everything to stand strong in Tadasana. Lift up, reach up the arms. Exhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Knees over ankles, tailbone up and into the body. Back ribs round. Good. Now from here, stork pose, right knee. Take the bind. And as you're holding here now, can you lift up through the back body? And then taking the arms out in line with shoulders or hands on hips, transition into Garudasana, eagle pose. Right arm goes under. Wrap the legs on top of each other. Sit down into the groins. Periscope your spine up behind you. Lengthen through the crown. 1 more deep breath. Just redirect your mind to your breathing. And then everyone simply release, come undone, and stand up into mountain pose. Tadasana, big breath. Exhale, hands to heart center. Whew. Now pick one place with your gaze, just one place. Don't move your eyes, but simply find a stance. Doesn't matter which side we choose. Tree pose. One foot's connected to the earth, obviously the other foot rising somewhere, just not on the knee. And then dedicate yourself to the direct gaze at one place. And notice if you can spend some time just observing that really direct commitment with your drishti. And you notice that the body might move. The gaze stays. Even if you wobble, even if you fall, can you practice staying in that commitment to the choice you're making about the direction, away from the mind and into the one single point of focus? And then try on a little bit of a feeling of just kind of testing the waters, maybe the arms reach. It's an experiment. They might go up. You might take one up, one down. You might bind. And allow yourself to feel the instability, and yet notice that you are encouraging and holding a space for stability with your gaze at one place. Last deep breath. Hands come back to heart, and we don't move the gaze. We just simply change sides. And in this way, we break ties, we cut the habit patterns of distraction that often go unnoticed, and we start to really hone this strong alignment with focus. Even if it wanes, even if it comes and goes. We stay watchful And we even encourage a little bit of a challenge. Let the arms go. You might just test that out. Everything is always changing. In a world that keeps moving, can you be the one still point with your gaze? Last 3, you might bind. 2, don't move your eyes. 1, come undone. And hands to heart as you release the raised foot down. Now turn sideways on your mat. Step both feet nice and wide. And as you turn the toes out, come to goddess and reach your arms T-shape in line with shoulders. Ready? We're going to take the left arm under eagle arms. Left arm wraps. Take the bind. And from here, a nice little cathartic movement, we've done this before, is to go left and to take a big circle. Now you've got to keep a bend in the knees. Don't let the knees stray from the big toes. Go all the way around 3 times. Your buttocks stay down. Knees stay in the bend. Last one, big circle. Good. Now open the arms wide. Take a breath. And before you can get out of it, because the mind wants you to get out of it, let's stay. Right arm underneath. Ready? And go again to the right. Big circle. Stay with the breathing now. You can do this for 2. Stay low. But sit the seat bones down a little more. Last one. Big breath. You can do it. Stay with it. Come back to center. Arms go wide open for a universal hug. Now stand up, prayer hands meet. Take a breath, straight legs. Hands to heart, hands to hips. Turn your toes to face in. Inhale, lift up your chest. Elbows shoot back, heart wide open. Bow forwards into recovery for a few moments. Ragdoll, grab the elbows. 3. That's it. Just drop your head, drop your heart. And you're breathing out. What goes with the CO2? What gets breathed out today? Last one. All right. Your hands can rest on something, the ground, a block, whatever you got. Toe heel the feet to come in. And then we're going to just gently squat down and sit down and lay down. Good news. Lay down. Come to the mat. Now we haven't done much of a back bend, so 1 bridge. Feet walk in, hands down, arms long. Press down through the feet, reach up through your pelvic bone, lift your hips off the mat. Shoulder blades walk underneath. Lift up from the crease of your glutes and coil your tailbone in. 3. Really open the fronts of the hips. Give the glutes about a 30% squeeze. 2. You can bend your elbows and with your hands, cup your glutes. Make sure they're turned on. This is just for you to check. Squeeze your own butt. Yes, are your glutes turned on? Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then lower the palms. Slowly bring your spine down, your hips to the ground. With the feet walking a little wider, windscreen wipe. Your knees and your shins from side to side. Breathe out. Last one from left to right. Beautiful. And then from here, legs go long. Taking Banana Asana, walk your heels towards the right, arms reach back over your head. Now step your feet across to the right more and bend your body like a banana through the upper half to the right. And just open that left-hand side of your lung, your hip, your belly, your outer thigh. Good. Take a deep round of breath into that left lung. And then bring the hands down, the arms down. And slowly, when the neck and spine is back in center, walk the feet in. Let's change sides. Banana Asana to the left. Arms reach over. Take a little bend in your back to the side. Just 3 breaths, slowing it down. 2 breaths. Allow your face to soften. Last breath for 1. And now come away from the shape of Banana Asana and reclaim a place back in the center of the mat. We're right on time to finish, so I just wanted to let you know you could either stay here for a few more moments, and I'm just happy to be with you in a Shavasana, or you might want to just start coming back into the space. I'm going to dedicate just a minute or so to Shavasana. Stay with me or go on your own adventure. If you feel to stay, of course you may. Otherwise, just starting to reclaim your awareness gently, slowly. And notice where your breath is directing to in your chest. Notice where your breath shows up in your chest. And each time it comes in, like a light turns on, you just wait. And with all of your presence, just be. Watching, observing, just here now, redirecting, creating choice. Breaking the old patterns, the old cycles, and reclaiming our own agency and power. Take one more breath where this is the practice. Now just slowly let that ebb and flow away as you gently come back into the room. Take your time to simply just rest. Feel free to roll to the side and slowly help yourself to seated. Thank you for practicing today. Your hands might find the heart when it's time. Take yourself through this final acknowledgement. As hands lift, the thumbs touch the third eye. And then down to heart. Namaste.